state where secrets hide. In Tampa Street, she seeks out lies. With a sharp eye, she'll reveal the truth. Justice calls and she pursues. From county jails to hallowed courts, she finds truth where they distort. Fearless heart and mind so keen, Sam unravels tangled seams. The truth is buried deep in files. Fairness is what they try to hide, but Sam prevails, she's got your back. With grit and grace she never lacks. Uncover lies and play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. Footsteps echo in the night. She chases justice with the light. A warrior for justice for all. She won't stop when she hits a wall. Florida P.I. Sam is her name. Uncover lies and play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. Uncover lies, play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It is Saturday, April 26th, 2025. I don't know how we got here so fast, but we did. It's really nice here in Florida, and I'm hoping it stays that way for at least a little while before the torrential rains and hurricanes come back, because I took a little stroll looking for my Amazon package the other day, and almost all of the first floor apartments in my complex are still empty and awaiting renovations, with appliances sitting like outside. So that sucks. And nobody ever came to fix anything here. They did, however, drop off 5 gallons worth of paint for me to take care of everything myself. Love that. So let's see who is with us this evening. Hello, Jenny. I see Morales. It's raining in West Virginia, apparently. Okay, so it looks like we have a very small group for the big reveal. But first I want to say thank you so much, because I hit the first earnings milestone on YouTube. Hey, Mom. I hit the first earning milestone on YouTube, so I want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed and watched to help me get to this point. I think we can have super chats now. I'm not sure. I checked email today and they'd approved it, and I applied yesterday, so I have no idea what any of it means. But thank you to everyone who came here with me starting in, I guess it was November. We're growing slowly but strongly. So thank you for that. Of course, I've lost my train of thought already. Takes about 2 seconds for me to do that. So we are still we're still talking about the Ellen Greenberg case, and I'm gonna first recap just the timeline for you guys about where we are, and then you're gonna get to see for yourself why this is such an important case and why it's still relevant in 2025. Oh, thank you, Jenny, for my very first super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let me introduce myself for anyone who is new and joining. I'm a licensed private investigator here in Tampa, Florida. I work in criminal defense, both for the state and federal cases. I work on court-appointed cases. So I am a contract vendor with the JAC, which if you watched anything to do with Sarah Boone, you would have heard and seen a lot about the JAC. I also went to law school and graduated 11 years ago. I cannot believe that. So if you're new or if you're old, you've been here forever, say hi in the chat. You guys say hi, please. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. If you think any of your friends would enjoy my crazy videos, then please feel free to share. All of my streams are in playlists by topic, and Ellen Greenberg's case is the first one that I am presenting to you in this way. Normally, I show you sort of behind the scenes, like I explain stuff like the Cellbrite extractions and what that looks like and all of those things. I have, thanks, Mom. My mom says hi to everyone in the chat. I appreciate you. I have a super fun-filled week coming up, starting with jail tomorrow, and then another jail on Monday. And, deadlines, all the fun things. So I'm glad you're enjoying the format, Jenny. I like when stuff is going on, like in the current cases, that I can say, hey, I deal with that, and then show you for real what that is. But I wanted to give everybody sort of a break from Karen Reed, which I haven't even been able to watch. I've been watching recaps on like 3 times speed to try to catch up, and I could not even tell you. But I wanted to give everybody a break from Karen Reed, but also the fact that that investigation was handled the way in which it was is part of what triggered me to bring this case up now. So that's why we are talking about Ellen. Besides the fact she's super important, this is an important case. As I've explained before, hey Susie, welcome. As I've explained before, no criminal charges have been filed in Ellen's case. But you're going to see tonight what I have been baiting you with, and that's just basically due to my method of organization. That's what we'll call it. So for people who have been here with me since the very beginning, I have been talking about a case I tried last August, or I was part of the team that tried a case last August for a young man that I feel very strongly about rehabilitation for versus sentencing him to the rest of his life in prison for a crime that he allegedly committed when he was 16. He's now 19. He's been in county that long. And it has taken me and Scotty Sinardi, who is my guest on here sometimes and who I work with in real life, it has taken us until Friday to get a doctor to evaluate him. And she went out there and spent 10 minutes and sent me a report. And I was so angry, I was calm. And that's terrifying because I'm never that angry. So I wrote an email, a very civilized and respectful email, and then I slept on it overnight and tweaked it a little more and resent it. And I'm glad I did, but it spurred her to some extent. But now she wants all of everything I know about the entire case for her by Monday, which is awesome. Love that for me. And then I've got a lawyer who wants all of 2,000 baby cam videos reviewed and written up by sometime this week. And trust me when I tell you, you do not want to watch those baby cam videos. So this is a little bit of stress, and I'll be happy when these couple of cases sort of move on down the road, I guess, as it were. And then I get to jump into Ponzi schemes and wire fraud, which at least it's not 14-year-olds offing each other. So that's great. Hi, Cindy Stovall. Welcome. All right, you guys. So this is part 4 of our investigation into the death of Ellen Greenberg, who lived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and this happened in 2011. I stream instead of recording videos because I need the gratification and the interaction of chat. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I know it's messy sometimes, but you know, this is real life for me. If you're already familiar with Ellen's case and you know what is current, I'll ask you to very kindly please refrain from spoilers in the chat. But I do want to just want to note to you that I'm aware of the local politics surrounding this case. I'm aware of where it stands today, but I'm reacting to it sort of in real time from the perspective of a criminal defense investigator. I have lovely ladies who research and pull together all the information. I pull pieces out with them and put it together to bring to you. So I have not read every single thing that's out there. Sometimes I'm reading and reacting to stuff with you guys in real time. So please, please, please interact. It's my favorite part of doing this. But if you already know where the case stands in 2025, hang on, we'll get there. And if you are not familiar with the case at all, and you don't know what I'm talking about, like I said, this is the 4th stream, so you can go back and watch parts 1, 2, and 3. They have timestamps, and I start at the very beginning for those. So one other warning, which I will give several times tonight, is that you will see computer generated graphic images. Now, don't freak out because they're not that realistic that like you'd mistake them for being the real thing. I've edited them down from a very long set of slides. I have no other way of conveying to you what happened to Ellen. I will warn you before I start to present these slides. Like I said, I've been over them. I'm comfortable putting them up, but I just want you to be aware. And I'm saying like 5,000 times. They look I think they still look, you can tell they're computer generated. It's just they can be a little bit of shocking. Yeah, I mean, Jenny, the first set of slides I looked at, I thought looked really, really real. I don't feel that way so much about the ones I'm going to show, but I could be wrong in that. So anyway, let's shut me up. Put this up. Oops, that's not the right one, but thank you for helping me meet that milestone, you guys. All right. Of course, I can't see. It's just been one of those days. I think it's been one of those weeks, you know? let me find my own presentation so I can actually read it to you guys. Please stand by while I try to process this information. Have you guys been watching the Karen Read trial? Does anyone have any thoughts on it thus far? I think it's going very differently than it did last time, from what I can tell anyway. Which one of these am I using? Oh my God. I swear I know what I'm doing. Not at all. It's because I'm working off of 2 computers and I have things in places, different places. Now, could you? Normally I put the text of whatever I'm showing you guys right in my like outline thing that I follow, but today I didn't have the time. Is this it? Nope, that is not it. What is going on? Oh, it's the wrong computer. Okay, we're not gonna worry about it. Hey, I vamos. Welcome. All right. I'll just make this bigger so I can attempt to read it. There we go. All right. So this is just a brief recap timeline. So we're in January 26th of 2011, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Sam Goldberg leaves his apartment that he shares with the victim, Ellen Greenberg, to go to the gym in their building. It's on camera, him leaving their apartment and going down to the gym. We know that she was home because her laptop was there and she uploaded her grades at 4:45. She was a school teacher. At 5:30 p.m., Sam exits the gym, which is caught on camera, and returns to the 6th floor. He tries to enter the apartment, but says that the swing bar lock, which we've showed you guys before, was engaged from the inside. So it's like that hotel thing that you flip over. And if you go over to Patreon, you'll find that we have all of our like we're calling them the investigator files, are over there. You can go back and review anything that you want. Oh, I see that What Are You Doing kind of like went off on its own here. So around 5:32, Sam calls, texts, and emails Ellen, like while he's at the door. These are some of the messages he sent. Hello, open the door. What are you doing? I'm getting pissed. Hello, you better have an excuse. What the F? You have no idea. So I take that to be anger. At 6:14, he calls his cousin Camian Schwartzman and speaks with Camian and his uncle James Schwartzman, telling them about the trouble he's having getting into the apartment. Sam can be seen talking on the phone at 6:30 p.m. from the cameras up until 6:31, where he walks out of range, reappears at 6:32:39, walking towards the elevator. His phone is in his hand, but he's not like, doesn't have it up to his face. We know a lot of people talk on speakerphone out in public, so that could be something, that could not be something. At 6:32:47, we see him look down at his phone screen. 10 seconds later, and if you guys think that it's weird to count seconds, stop sometime and just like set the timer or the stopwatch on your phone and watch the seconds go by, because it seems like it's not that long, but it can be really long. In my first federal murder trial, I think 11 seconds went by and 67 rounds were fired in those 11 seconds from one car to another. So at 6:32:47, so 10 seconds, approximately 10 seconds later, is that right? Do I count my math? We can see him look down at his phone screen. Then at 6:32:57, he gets in the elevator and it closes. He says he got security to assist him to break into the apartment. This isn't true. We know that because the security people have been interviewed, and we also know that he was on the phone with his uncle and cousin when he discovered Ellen. And so at some point he would have had to have called 911. I don't have the phone records, and there's more details to pull out regarding the phone and the surveillance activity, but I was a little behind in getting this put together, and I see that the little StreamYard logo is over my little face over here. One day we'll be able to afford to get rid of that. Okay, so at 6:42, that's when first responders come upstairs. The security guy, Mr. Hanton, he never gets into the elevator with Sam at any point, and like I said, maintains to this day that he did not accompany Sam to the apartment. At 7:30, the uncle, James, and the cousin, Kamian Schwartzman, arrive at the apartments after they've received multiple calls from Sam. At 7:31, Officer Jamie Budd arrives, and at 7:34 p.m., he requests the medical examiner. And what we learned is apparently that in Philadelphia, the medical examiner investigator is the lead investigator. Apparently, like he's the crime scene investigator. And I can't pronounce his name, so I call him Mr. O. So he arrives at 8:27, and then we're not sure what time. And I'm not saying that the information isn't out there. I just may not have it in here. But as we progress through the materials, I expect to be able to finesse this a little bit more. But like I said, I've been working a lot, and it's going to be like that for a little bit. So that leaves me less time to, find a little hidden details in here for you guys. Let's see. So we don't know when he took a statement from Sam Goldberg on the scene, and then they took him to the police station for further questioning. They didn't take his phone, and they released him that night. And sometime that evening, Mr. O leaves the scene. It's at 3 a.m. that the property manager, Melissa Ware, and we saw a little video from her a couple of streams ago, removes the body from the apartment, and reports indicate that it was her that stayed on the scene until Ellen's body was picked up. So until 3 a.m., which is crazy. And so the crime scene was never like protected or watched by law enforcement. Like she was the last one there. At 7:41 a.m., the investigator interviews Ellen's parents via phone. And then that same day, on the 27th, Dr. Osborne performs the autopsy, and his preliminary determination is homicide. Sometime during that morning, James Schwartzman, the uncle, and Kamian, the cousin, they contact Melissa Ware, the property manager, asking to enter the apartment to obtain funeral clothes. So Melissa Ware calls the Philadelphia police, and she is told that it's not an active crime scene. This is 12 hours? No, a little over 12 hours. She's told it's not an active crime scene. She asked what she should do to clean it up, and they were very helpful, and they gave her the name of a crime scene cleanup company. She tells this to the uncle and cousin, and then proceeds to hire the cleanup company, and the apartment is cleaned that same day. Sometime that afternoon, after the apartment has already been crime scene cleaned, uncle comes in and takes Ellen's purse, 3 laptop computers, her phone, and I guess a suit for James. So on the 28th, the Philadelphia police now decide they're gonna get a search warrant and execute it on the now sanitized crime scene, which I'm sure was extremely helpful. On the 29th, the detective Sierra from Philadelphia Police Department gets the laptops and the phone back from the uncle. And then also on the 29th, a statement is released that the Philadelphia police detectives are leaning towards the conclusion that Ellen Ray Greenberg committed suicide. Lieutenant Raymond Evers emphasized that the case is still wide open, but he said he wanted to assure residents of Greenberg's, I do not even know, Manayunk neighborhood, that there wasn't a maniac on the loose. Greenberg was found in the apartment by her fiance, who called police. Evers said other residents of the building heard no commotion. Evers says that detectives were looking into some mental issues that Greenberg may have had. And we talked about that last week. So this happened in the end of January. In March, Dr. Osborne changes his report to suicide. And on April 4th, he reissues the death certificate to reflect the same. And on April 15th, he releases his investigation report and references that Sam forced entry into the apartment with the apartment security person present during the entry, which the security person wasn't there. We showed you photos of the inside of the door. I don't think it looks like it was kicked in. Somebody observed that there was like no debris on the floor, which I agree. If you guys want to see that, go over to Patreon. It's free, but that's where all the investigator files are. And if you want, you can sign up for a Patreon membership. And we'll put additional content over there. Now, here's the crazy, well, one more piece and then it's really crazy. On April 1st, the Regional Computer Forensics Laboratory turns over Ellen's Google search results to the Philadelphia Police Department for 12/18/2010 through January 10, 2011. And I showed you those at the end of last week's stream. So again, investigative files on Patreon. In January of 2012, a year later, Ellen's parents have to pay for her autopsy report and photographs. They have to pay for them, which is absolutely insane to me. I don't understand that at all. I don't know if it's because it was never labeled a criminal case that they wouldn't release them to. I just don't know. Let's see what you guys are saying, if anything, over there. Oh, help if I turn that screen back to where I could see it. Yeah, it looks like law enforcement was more concerned with calming public fears than doing a proper investigation, for sure. So I think this is, so okay, I'm going to give you guys, remove this. Boy, my struggle is extra today, isn't it? Where is, oh, I know what I did. It's because I blew it up so I could see it. I can't see anything else. Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to show you guys next is the computer reconstruction of what happened to Ellen, of Ellen's wounds, based on the photographs that the family was able to obtain. Oh, I know what I forgot to show you. I'm so sorry. Get back over here. So this is called, what I'm about to show you is called photogrammetry. My brain is not doing this today. Which was unavailable at the time of Ellen's death. which was in 2011. So this was actually done in, I can't remember what year, 2021 maybe. And I have to show it to you, even though I'm trying to do this in chronological order. I have to do it because you're never going to understand if I don't show it to you now. So this is the science and technology of obtaining reliable information about physical objects in the environment through the process of recording, measuring, interpreting photographic images and patterns of electromagnetic radiant imagery and other phenomena. There are many variants of photogrammetry. One example is the extraction of three-dimensional measurements from two-dimensional data file images. So that's what these were based off of. And this is the process, but it wasn't available until much later. So they had the actual photographs. What I'm going to show you, and this is my trigger warning screen. Again, I'm going to show you computer generated images. If you don't think this is a good thing for you to see, then please check back next week and we will be done with the images. But I think it's super important for the context of this case that you guys see exactly what happened to Ellen. All right, so with that being said, and a trigger warning going across the bottom of the screen and you having been forewarned by me, I am now going to show you what absolutely blows my mind. So this is the reconstruction position of Ellen's wounds. I chose these particular ones where these red arrows indicate sort of like where the wounds were and the directionality of them. And then this little, I'm like moving my mouse around like you can see that, and I know you can't. So the arrows that are at the bottom right in the bottom right square there, that just is to show you like the different angles. So this is her neck at the top, and this would be the front of her chest. Remember, they said she did this to herself. This is the back of her head. And the first thing that sticks out to me is that ginormous wound in the upper right part of her skull up here. And you'll remember she was sort of slumped back and downwards against the cabinets when she was found with the knife sticking out of her chest. But I don't know how one stabs themselves like in the back of their skull. And on scene, they didn't know this. They didn't figure this out. They found the 10 on her front, but apparently didn't notice the 10 on the back of her head. This is a knife. Again, I've showed you that before. It looks like that slide might be upside down. This is what it looks like from another vantage point. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea how someone would do this to themselves. Absolutely no idea. Here's from the secondary view. I don't even know what to say about these. I think this is insanity. I don't understand. Just like in Karen Reed's case, where the ARCA experts came in and said there's no way this man was hit by a car or killed by a car or hit by a car, but the state's prosecuting. Here they're saying this was not a homicide. No, not a homicide. This wound up here on her scalp, the really big one, was very deep as well. So I'm not a crime scene expert, but I would think somebody would have kind of chopped from above, if you will. But to me, this is crazy. This is crazy. How does someone do that to themselves? And one of these wounds, at least one in her back, and we'll get into like the detailed reports of exactly what wounds caused what injuries to her. We have reports about that, and we'll get into that at on the next stream, I believe. So the autopsy report indicated that wound N was 8 centimeters deep and extended through the occipital triangle, incising the vessels overlying the cerebellum. This is your occipital bone right here. So one of these wounds came back through her eye. In order for the knife to enter through the reconstructed wound location and pass below the occipital bone into the area of the cerebellum, the head had to have been bent down, as shown in the following slides. I might have edited out the other slides. I don't know. Oh, no, right there. So her head had to be tilted down a little bit to be able to do that. And then if the knife went in with the serrated part facing up, I guess that would work. Like, I'm not coordinated enough clearly to make this happen to myself. Could I fall down and injure myself? Yes. Do I do that often? More than I care to admit. So here's what it looks like when you remove and you just see sort of what her insides, like how do you give yourself even one of these major wounds and then keep going, right? And N is the one that's up here at the very top, just below her skull, where that, right there, where sometimes you get the worst headaches. I just think this is insane. And look how far in the measurements here are anatomically correct. The depth is as well. So look how far that is in her. You guys, this is insane. This is insane. Yeah, it is crazy. Yes, C. Morales. Wow. I agree. It's insane. I don't have words for this. I know that you guys who are here who are not related to me or who don't know me in real life, you guys are true crime people or you're trial watchers, you're fans of this kind of content on YouTube. So I know you see, and I know that some of you who have been in the chat previously on the earlier streams, I know some of you from a couple of weeks ago know this case. This is outrageous. This is outrageous. How I don't have words, and usually I have a lot of words. So this will give you a better idea of where this punctured her spine. And this is actually, like, if you look at this, I have my screen brightness turned way down to kill the glare on my glasses. But if you look through the shading, the knife T, that's the one. No, wait, is it T or is it N that goes like through the occipital bone because her head was tilted down? This is insane. Cindy Stovall says they would have been more thorough if she had been their family member. I mean, if they had been competent, right? I've almost says, I have common sense. There's no way one could do that to themselves. I mean, I like to think I have some common sense. I've made it this far in life, right? I'm still here. And like I said, I see some crazy stuff that even you guys don't see because I see everything and I see a lot of stuff I don't want to see and have done for the past 10 years. There are some images that are burned into my brain that I will die with. And I've never seen anything like this. and called it a suicide. Just not. So here, yeah, it's the, so injury in, right? That's the one they're saying goes through her cerebellum, but T is the one that goes into her occipital bone. I think this graphic is really good because you're seeing the knives go in from the back, but you're seeing what the outcome is on like her face, the way that they've created this. I've never seen this done before in any of my cases, but we do get Faro scans, Faro, and that's where they bring in a team or a person, and it's usually done at shooting scenes, and they set up like a tripod with a specialized camera, and it like takes a scan of the whole thing so that you can see where all the shots were fired from and where they ended up. And that's more like almost like a little video, but I've never seen anything like this. So I focused on these 2 wounds because to me, like, how do you do that? I don't understand. How do you do that to yourself? And look at this injury to her brain. Like, this is nuts, right? So the position of the wounds and bruises on Ms. Greenberg's body were placed on 3-dimensional computer model of Ms. Greenberg using analysis of the autopsy photographs coupled with the information. I lost my place because I looked over somewhere. Provided in the autopsy report. That's how they were able to do this. 11 posterior, so that means your back, head and neck wounds sustained by Ellen Greenberg are not biomechanically consistent with self-infliction. The subject posterior head and neck wounds are consistent with focalized stabbing by an assailant. Self-infliction of the multiple posterior-oriented head and neck angulated subject wounds would require multiple intentional dynamic motions of the proximal and distal radial, oh my, that word's not going to come out of my mouth today, radial ulnar joints, which is not biomechanically probable by Ellen Greenberg. The locations, angulations, and various depths of Ellen Greenberg's 11 posterior head and neck wounds are not consistent with self-inflicted radial ulnar motions and the necessary inertia to inflict the subject multiple head and neck wounds upon oneself. Multiple contusions, you guys, contusions are bruises of Ellen Greenberg's upper and lower extremities of various resolutions are biomechanically consistent with assailant-oriented trauma and not self-inflicted injury. Okay. And then I think this is the last one I have for you today. Signs and symptoms associated with stab wounds to the head, neck, and body. Unconsciousness, semi-consciousness, headache, cranial nerve defects, severe facial pain, dizziness, impaired coordination, impaired loss of vision, tinnitus, that's where you hear ringing in your ears, confusion, seizure, impaired thinking, weakness, emotional discomfort, anxiety, fear, loss of blood pressure, loss of heart rate, blood loss, hypoxic brain damage, respiratory failure, hypotension, chest pain, cardiac dysrhythmias, loss of cerebrospinal fluid, and loss of blood pressure due to loss of blood. Yeah. So, Carolina. So what do you guys think about that? Because, well, you know my opinion. I've almost said autopsies are intriguing. I don't care for them much, and I really avoid at almost all costs. Oh, you can see the vacuum cleaners right there. Henry was making some messes. Just turn this way. He makes the blinds go like that too. Yeah, you would think this would have incapacitated her. I mean, that's the point of this report, right? It's also what common sense would say, I would think. And Alexis is asking, how does this jive with her alleged Google search for a painless death? I mean, like we've talked about, she had a drawer full of meds that could get the job done, right? Without inflicting multiple 20 stab wounds to herself. Yeah, Cindy, I agree. It never could have been self-inflicted. I would think it would be hard to inflict head wounds, especially like that deep one, you know? I was thinking when I first saw that wound, and I don't know that I had seen the knife before, I was thinking that it had to be like a big kitchen, like a butcher knife. And it wasn't. It was a serrated, you saw it. I showed it to you. It's in the files. Um, Carolina is asking, Alexis, you can take the trigger warning down. We're done with that. Could Sam have assisted Ellen in her suicide since the authorities are calling it that? Well, Carolina, isn't that a very good question to be asking? And wasn't it one that the authorities should have been asking? But like we said, the scene was released that night. There was nothing. They sent the one medical examiner investigator, some cops, some EMTs. And what's interesting about this case, and like I said, there's never been criminal charges filed. They decided that based on what Sam said, the hotel door hinge thingy that looked like it had sustained some damage. I think that's up to interpretation. But again, I've got the photos and stuff for you over on Patreon under Ellen's case. And then the fact that their apartment was 6 floors up, the balcony showed fresh snow and no tracks. They decided nobody else could have been in there. It had to be her because Sam was down in the gym. But it doesn't make sense. So next week we are going to start looking at the actions the parents took in terms of investigating what happened to Ellen, to try to find out exactly, Carolina, exactly what happened. And again, we're now in 2025. This occurred in 2011. And that's just, it's obscene to me. And you can't get to the records. I'm not saying that, like, basically we can't even get to a police report. I've shown you some of the only documents that have been released, and you saw how badly they appear. It's like something I would expect out of the Sixth Circuit here. They're in the Barney Flintstone age. But all the FOIA requests in the world have not gotten to what investigation, if any, was done. I mean, they didn't come back to investigate the scene until, one, it had been cleaned, two, the uncle had come in and taken what he wanted out of it, and including the electronics. So we have the notes from the 3 visits that she went to see a psychiatrist. We have that she was feeling a little stressful. We have some odd looking Google searches, which may, technology can be manipulated. I've, for those of you, I don't know Android phones very well, but on iPhone, I can go into a picture I took today and alter the metadata to say whatever I want. Now, what I don't know is if in a Cellbrite extraction report, because that will pick up like deleted texts and everything that you've tried to delete, I will end up seeing in the end. Your phone will tell on you. It will tell on you every single time, unless you're like Brian Higgins and you go to like the FBI and do your own extraction and then dispose of your SIM card on a military base. But I digress. Your phone is going to tell on you. So what I don't know, because I haven't seen it come up yet in any of my cases, is if somebody goes in and alters the metadata on their phone, does then Celebrate catch that in the extraction report? And I don't have an answer to that. I guess I could research it if I had extra time, but right now I don't have extra time to research that because I have to watch baby cam videos. Because it shows so many other things, like people think they're safe, right? And I think I've got one client who's about to find out just how much his phone is going to tell us. Or actually, even if it's not necessarily the phone, if you're an iPhone user and you even have like the free level of iCloud storage, your phone's images are being transmitted to iCloud unless you specifically turned that off. So, and on Android, it's my understanding that Google goes up into the Google world of things, right? So if that's true, then the metadata would go with it. I just don't know if the change goes with it, but I'm interested to find that out. Right now, the baby cam videos that I'm having to watch, they're only a minute long. So when I say there's 2,000 of them, that's not, it's over 2,000, but the image, it was an SD card, and the software that they use to do an extraction on that is called Magnet Axiom. Axon. The body cam video from some of the local police is Axon, and then I think Magnet is Axum. It's confusing. But on there, I can even see, and the examiner could see where 120 files had been deleted. Because if you delete something, it can be overwritten. So I've gone off the rails a little bit here. The Google searches that she was alleged to have done, did those really happen when they said they happened? And were those ones that she actually did herself? I mean, we don't know because there was no chain of custody, right? And what I see, and I've shown you guys before, and I think I'm going to do it again, is the warrant. So first, in a case, they'll send out a preservation letter to Snapchat, to Apple, to Meta, which is the parent company of Google. Meta is also Instagram. They say, freeze the account. Don't tell the owner that the account has been frozen. Like, freeze it in that don't let it be deleted. Activity can still be happening, adding to it, but nothing can be taken away. Don't tell the owner. Then they do an application for a search warrant. Judge signs off, agrees to keep it under seal, and they go and they get your stuff out of the cloud. So even if you think on your phone's actual device that you have deleted or an SD card or anything else, it may still be with whatever app you were using to begin with, Facebook Messenger. The only thing they can't get that I'm aware of thus far is like when you talk to somebody in a video call, they can register that happened, but the content isn't there. And I know, for example, the federal government, in my crazy financial crimes cases, all I do is look at strings of numbers because they're using IP addresses, search histories. There's something called Google Takeout where it just zips your entire like Google world into one thing, and they export that for forensic analysis. And we don't know that a true forensic analysis was ever done on Ellen's laptop. We have the 3 pages I showed you last week of her search results, which may or may not have been made by her. We don't know because the police did not take the laptop into custody. And we also don't know what happened from 4:45 forward, which is when her last, like when she uploaded her grades into the school's computer system. And in 2011, it's not like that was the dark ages either. So I don't know that, like I said, I haven't seen all the details of all the things, but I don't know that there was ever an extraction done on her phone. I know there was never one done on his. So I mean, I just don't know. Alexis, who is one of my researchers, and well, hi Tanika, welcome. Alexis and Jenny did a lot of the research on this case. And Alexis is saying that law enforcement had Ellen's phone. The police report doesn't indicate that Sam's phone was searched. We know that he wrote to her because it was on her phone. So, hey, only fan, good to see you, sir. Good morning to you in Singapore. Hey, therapist, you know. Hey, you guys, it's been a minute since I've seen you. Hi. Hello. Hey, Tanika. Thanks for joining. Thanks for helping me to get to my first YouTube monetization milestone. Tanika has played a huge role in helping me to grow the channel. We've done some videos together. I have a playlist with her videos on this channel set up for you guys. We're working on another one. We've done the preliminary work for another one for you guys on JAC stuff. It's just a matter of time getting it put together for you, but all of your questions will be answered. Also, shout out to Trial TV Live because they helped me very much to build a base for this channel, and a lot of you guys came from them. So I haven't seen them in a minute over here, but I'm grateful to them nonetheless. Hey, Barry Adams, where have you been, sir? We notice when the chat is quiet, you guys. When some of you are not here, we notice this. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in. If you haven't already, hit the like button. I know there's only a handful of us here, but I do appreciate you. Alexis is asking, Ellen's parents had to hire their own experts. Unfortunately, they have the money to do so. Does JAC pay for expert investigation? Well, you have to remember in this case, there were no criminal charges filed. So if there's no criminal case and nobody has been charged, then like in this kind of a situation, no, JAC would not pay for that. If this was a homicide investigation, then yeah, JAC pays for that. And their rates are from 2007, and the doctors don't want to work for $125 an hour. We were just reviewing the JAC rates, actually. Lawyers on JAC cases that are billing hourly are making $100 an hour. That's insane. That's insane. Barry, what have you been doing? Preparing budgets for federal cuts. Oh, sir, can we talk about that? Because if I don't spend the next 3 weeks buried in however many 200 some hours of federal work, that's a lot of freaking money that is going to go down the drain because they are going to defund that. There's Trial TV Live. Hi, Aaron. It's nice to see you. Welcome. So yeah, there's so much we don't know. But back to your question, Alexis, if this was a homicide case, then of course the state would put on the medical examiner and any of their experts that they had. But here, and then the JAC, if somebody had court appointed defense counsel and they had they decided that they wanted their own expert analysis, then yes, the JAC would pay for that. You'd have to make a motion to the court, and the JAC has to say they have an objection or they don't have an objection, and all the things. You have to go through all the rigmarole. But yeah, it's nice to see everybody. I miss the people when you guys aren't here, like some of you who are always engaged. Well, hey, Chris. Hi, it's good to see you guys. I really like having all of you guys in the chat because I talk to myself enough. I don't need to sit here on the internet talking to myself. And I want to say thank you. If you guys didn't hear me, to Trial TV Live, the Squeegee of Justice, because I did hit my first monetization milestone, which I guess I didn't even get a chance to see what it meant, but Jenny gave me a super chat. So I guess that's what or a super sticker. So I guess that's what it means, is that I can have super chats now. And Trial TV Live gave me a lot of opportunity to work with them on their channel and a lot of support on this channel. And Aaron saved me from myself on my very first stream that I yeeted myself out of immediately. So I'm very grateful to you guys, as well as all of the subscribers that have come along in the past several months. We're growing slowly. I'd like to be able to bring you more content. I intend to bring you, see, Morales, I agree, we do have a great community. I intend to bring you more content, but right now, because I own my own agency in Florida. All that means is I don't have like, like people or an office. I have this chaos. Well, thank you, Triple TV Live, for a $10 super chat. Then my second one ever. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't think we'd ever get past like the first 15 of you that were hanging in with me. I really didn't. I wasn't sure. And there were a couple of times where I was just like, I don't know. I don't know that I can do this. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. So I want to bring you more content. There is, behind the scenes in my Google Drive. I don't like Chrome, you guys. I don't like this Google world. I live over in a different ecosphere, whatever they call it, ecosystem of Squeegee, you're meal prepping, so you won't be in chat. Much love back at you. What are you making? Because I'm still eating. I've switched from peanut butter to almond butter, but I'm still eating it out of the jar. Barry says being your own boss means you have to spend more of your brain power filing compliance and tax things that make sense. Let me tell you something, Barry. My accountant has known me for 21 years. She's a saint. She's an angel. She is, thank you, C. Morales. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. She, like I said, she's known me for 21 years. And before I went to law school, I also owned my own business in South Florida. So they tried to teach me how to do, the QuickBooks, right? So I tried really hard to do QuickBooks, but then I had to pay them to undo what I had done and redo it. So I haven't even given her my information for this year, and I have to, because I am an independent contractor for the purposes of everything I do, and my health insurance is through the Affordable Care Act, and in order to stay that way, I have to pay taxes or file taxes. Paying is another issue. We'll talk about that. But yeah, so Squeegee, anytime you wanted to send some meal prep this way, be happy to take it. I don't even know how to pronounce that, sir. I'll put it up on the screen, but I have no idea how to say that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. But I'm glad to see you guys in chat. It's been a long time. So, right. Okay. So what I was trying to say to you is, one, I've got a full caseload right now, which I'm very thankful for. You always want to have more work and to do than less or none. So that's really important, especially when you're basically self-employed and you have no other stream or significant other providing income. And so far, Henry has yet to be monetized in any way, shape, or form. He just costs a lot of money. So right now I'm running out the clock on the federal cuts because they are coming for the budget, the money that pays for criminal defendants who cannot afford a defense. They're coming for that money. So if I were to be arrested on federal charges and I have done nothing wrong to merit that, I would be in a world of hurt because they're cutting the funding for people to be able to have investigators and experts and analysis, things like that. And there's a lot of really other unfortunate things that are coming to pass as a result of all the funding cuts. But I have to work while the work is here, and I have to get the invoices in before, like, they need to go in as soon as humanly possible. And I have terabytes worth of data to go through. And here's a really super fun fact about getting files from the federal government: you can't search them at all. They're not searchable. So they do give you this like super helpful PDF index for cases, right? It's like, and it's Bates numbers. If you don't know what Bates numbers is, it's just like when law enforcement has like a lot of documents. It's a lawyer might start with 0 and run a pagination through like a really big document. So I was looking at the first discovery production index for one of these cases, and I think that index is about 27 pages long. I printed it, but I think my computer is sitting on it. So then I looked at the second production index. It's 1,200 pages. The index is 1,200 pages. I don't know how to convey this to you, the magnitude of that. I don't know how. But here's another super fun part of my job is that to get paid on that kind of thing, I have to account not only for everything I did to the 10th of the hour, but somebody who does not do my job is reviewing it for reasonableness. So I once billed an hour for reading an indictment, and they came back on me for that. And I said it was a 59-page indictment with 14 co-defendants. With however many federal counts. I said it literally took me that long to sit here and like pull it out so I could see what it meant. And they were like, yeah, that's too much time. That's frustrating. The JAC has guidelines, at least in terms of how many pages they will pay for us to read in an hour. And they push back on me with this case that I have that is still taking up my hallway because I was reviewing PDF files that were like 5,000 pages long. Well, I'm not reading 5,000 pages. I'm skimming with like multiple pages across a really big screen I have over here, because I'm looking where documents begin and end and whether they belong to the defendant or the co-defendant. So I'm trying to explain to the JAC, like, I have 8 banker's boxes full of loose paper here that I'm sitting on the floor and sorting, and it goes back to the early 2000s. And they're like, that's not specific enough. I just took pictures. I took pictures and I sent them to them, and I was like, I've done my best to quantify for you, to explain this to you. Just pay me. And they did. But still, it's a fight. So it's not only a battle sometimes to get the discovery, to get it complete, to get it in time, to get through it, but to then bill for it and actually get paid. And on my first federal murder case, it took them 6 months to pay out part of it and 8 months to pay out another part. And by the time I finally got money, I was still working state cases at the same time. I sat through that entire federal trial with no order saying that they would pay me to be there. By the time I finally got money for that case, like I said, they were ready to shut off my electricity. I had an eviction notice. I'm like sending screenshots to my landlords, like, here's the contract. Like, this is how much money they owe me right here. Here's when I submitted it. And then I'm like trying to email the people at the CJA, which is different than the JAC. I'm like, give me my money. Like, this is ridiculous. Do you understand? This is how I make a living. It's frustrating. Okay, I'll stop. That's my rant. That is my rant. Yeah, it's going to take a long time to read the index, and I'm glad that this is not my first go round with the federal government, because I know what I'm looking for. But the way in which they release the discovery, it's not easy to work with. And it depends on the agency on the state side, whether it's like the Tampa Police Department versus the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office versus Pinellas County, where I have to go to their jail on Monday. I don't like it there, you guys. Doesn't stop the client's rights, doesn't stop the rabbit hole. You're in the middle of fleshing out the facts and details that might help them. I mean, that's the point, you know? Yeah, I don't think you can, I can't tag from my phone, Barry. Chris was asking time frame of invoice to payment. So right now, the JAC is paying me, the invoices that are going in right now are, I'm putting so much detail into them that they're paying me out in usually a week to 10 days, which is really good. With the CJA, it's on the federal end. I don't know. It could be Christmas. It could be never, because they're cutting the funding. So it depends on where I fall in line behind anybody else who's already invoiced, which is crazy, you know? And like, how do I describe, there's so much that I do that I don't know someone would understand it. Like, it's crazy to me that they review it for reasonableness. Like 5 different people on the federal end review my invoices for reasonableness. It's like, do you know what is reasonable when you are opening like Russian nesting dolls, files of files of files of files, and the names aren't like photos of this, it's strings of numbers, and you've got more than one defendant's discovery wrapped up together. It's crazy. Mary says, does that impact? Okay, wait, hold on. So, Squeegee, it's anybody's guess. I'll let you know. We just put one in. I just put one in the other day. We'll see how long it takes. We put one in the other day. It's a small one, so it shouldn't be too taxing to anyone's brain. I remember calling there and them being like, yeah, there's only like one of us here. That was 4 years ago. Does that impact the case? If so, how? Me getting paid? Yeah, if I run out of hours, it does, because, well, the time that it takes to get me paid. So I'm going to give everybody's favorite lawyer answer and nobody's favorite civilian answer or person answer, which is it depends. If I have said to the attorney, I am going to run out at, like, as soon as I turn in this invoice for this many hours, I'm done. I'm out of hours. And they get a new request for authorization in on the federal side, and a magistrate judge signs off on it fast enough, which, like I said, I got through an entire trial where nobody signed off on paying me. It could stop my work on the case, because I'm not going to continue working if I don't know that I'm getting the hours coming in. So if it's a magistrate judge that like does the budget, and sometimes these trials, depending on, or these cases, depending on what the charges are, what the length of them are, you have to do like a budget from all the experts and all the attorneys, and there's so much process to it. But yeah, so it could totally stop my work on a case. And on the JAC end, for some reason, it's taking forever right now for them to to approve or do their no objection, you file a motion proposed order into the e-filing system. It goes to the JAC. They have to say, we have no objection, basically. That has to come back through to the judge. The judge then has to sign the order, and I have to be given the order before I can work on a case. That right now is taking longer than it is to get me paid. So like I turned in a bill on the baby cam case. I've been through, I think I went through 75 hours, and I'm like, if you want me to finish reviewing these 2,000 hours of 2,000 files, however many files there are of the baby cam video, and go through the extraction, I need more hours, right? And I'm telling him this, like, I've billed up to what I've done. I know this attorney is going to get me more hours. I just don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm out of time. So it doesn't matter. Like, I have to work on it. I have to do the work. And then what I ask them to do is, it's called Nunc Pro Tunc. It means backdating. So I'm like, backdate the request for more hours to April 15, because it's messy. I hate it. But the good news is that the federal government, before they run out of money, they've gone to electric transfer of funds. So that's great. I don't have to wait for them to mail me a check anymore. And I get very fancy, like, federal government checks. They're very pretty. But waiting on those is torture, because it'll say in the system, invoice paid and closed out. And then you're checking the mail and checking the mail and checking the mail. And I don't know what it is about Florida, but somebody sent me a birthday card 5 years ago that still has never shown up. So you never know what you're going to get. Sorry guys, let's see. Barry says, Sam, you've worked with them and are so detailed that you're kind of like the gold standard. Well, you're very kind, sir. My memory is like Swiss cheese, but I appreciate you. Is the gold standard. Imagine a new PI submitting their first billing. Well, so when we did this federal double murder a couple of years ago, that was the one where I told you guys the story about how they were doing jury selection, and they asked if anyone owned an AR-15, and the veneer panel, like the panel of people that were in, were mostly like white ladies my age and older, and I'd say about 85% of them raised their hands. That was a little eye-opening. But in that case, and that was the first case for both me and one of the attorneys on the case. It was originally intended to be a death penalty case, so we had two attorneys working on it. And when I tell you that the paralegal, between the paralegals, me, the attorneys, all of us, we had somebody who was supposed to be managing the discovery, and I'm like, it's a mess. You're not managing crap, sir. I don't know why you're here. It was a process, and trying to get help is just an absolute nightmare. Explain how federal works. Read the initial hours, and having the attorney to have to get an order. Oh, okay. So what she's referring to is on a federal case, unlike a state case. And again, I'm speaking for state cases in terms of the state of Florida. Now I knocked my power thing out. On the federal side, one moment while I plug myself back in. Okay. On the federal side of things, you can bill for an investigator for up to $1,000 without a magistrate's authorization. And then after that, you have to have an authorization, which means that the attorney basically has to petition the court to get them to agree to pay an expert. Me being in the federal system, I'm an expert. And so what I've started doing, some of some attorneys don't even know that like they can do this, right? That they can get people like me paid for by the JAC or by the CJA. But now I've got my attorneys requesting, they used to request something like 25 hours. Well, no, I want like 250 hours. Give me time to work on this case. You know, it's just, it's, hello, Ohio Palm Mom. Welcome. It's been a minute. I'm glad to see you. Barry says, folks like me who just look at things in the context of line items in Excel and deviations written by macro. I would hate to accept someone's livelihood depends on my findings based on me clicking analyze data and developing my questions. But as an auditor, that's how I started. And as a human, that's where I'm conflicted. Interesting. I think Tanika used to work in compliance, or maybe she still does. I'm not sure. Carolina says, I remember you and your guest, Scott, sharing a video on how long opening terabytes can be at PICM. I hope that's what you're talking about. If not, laugh out loud, terabytes, files, etc. So yeah, I mean I think I was maybe showing you how long it takes to open a cell phone extraction. But yeah, so they come zipped. Right now, Scott has got a case that I desperately need the discovery for, and the links are through evidence.com. And he's like, it keeps crashing. I can't get it to download. So I'm like, well, send me the links. Let me see if I can get it to happen. And it takes one file name being one character too long to crash the entire thing. So you kind of have to have an awareness of how to do computerish things, I guess, in order to troubleshoot some of this stuff. And I was trying, I've told you guys this before, but I use Mac computers. And I was trying to unzip one of these federal discovery files, and it wouldn't unzip, and it wouldn't unzip. And then I realized it was because the hard drive they'd given me was formatted exclusively to Windows. So I had to go and unzip it on Windows before I could read it on my Mac. But when I give them hard drives, I dual format it, and there's a process to that. So because I know all my attorneys have, except for Scott, have Windows, and I have a Windows laptop here. I hate turning it off. Okay, so yeah, terabytes of data. It's huge files. If I somewhat answered your question, Carolina. So data takes up space, and space is terabytes. Landlords want their money. Landlords want the money. They could care less about seeing proof of your contracts. Happens to my son when his clients don't pay him. He owes a small detailing cleaning business here. Yeah, it took a while. Ohio Palm Mom hasn't been watching. Well, I hope you come back. Tanika, she used to, before the banking market crashed in 2008, pivoted to technology. That was probably a good decision on your part. Barry says Tanika was QI compliance auditor, so she was all up in your business for how you did what you did, and I'd come back after she was done to discuss how much it cost and what budget lines were in it through. Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, it just depends on so many factors for all the things. Okay, so Carolina says I answered your question. Do I ever answer a question in a straightforward manner? Probably not. But okay, so I showed you guys what happened to Ellen. Like, you got to see it. You got to see it. So I hope if you joined late, you'll go back to the beginning of the stream. I walk you through the timeline real quick, and then show you the computer generated images from 2021. It'll all be over on my Patreon. You can find the investigator files over there. I hope you will like the video. I hope you will subscribe. I hope you come back again. If you are if you are on replay, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment, and I hope you'll subscribe. Next week, we are going to find out what Ellen's parents do. She was their only child. And the apple of her father's eye and her mother's little lady. She deserves nothing but answers. Tanika says, Lori Dable had 22 terabytes of digital evidence. Her investigator was not tech savvy, couldn't figure out how to copy the phone download, asked the state to just make a copy of. Oh, that's problematic. Yeah, I kind of had to figure it out for myself, but and I can't even remember like where I started or how I did figure it out, but I've taught myself much of, well, all of what I know, basically. And by watching trials, that helps too. That helps too. So we shall see. But thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for helping me hit my end milestone, or this first milestone. And I hope I will see you next week for part 5. I think we're going to be at part 5. Thank you so much. Good night.